with your soul. So let's start with a prayer. L'shem yikud kudushabi hu ushinate bi'lu ar imulayaj yuki bavavke bi'udah shalom b'shem kuzrael kolam amen. Okay, and Yosh, I'm looking up to the green dot, are almost parallel. Is that correct?
Yes.
How's that look?
Good.
On two pillows. Good?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. So, again, I welcome everybody with love, and I'm just going to give a little bit of talk, and then we'll have a little bit of Q&A. And the talk I'm thinking about actually is a kind of a title. I call it Fresh Air for the Soul. It's kind of a humorous, but really what we're dealing with, because between the mask, where actually within 30 seconds, it drops your oxygen 20%, which is actually a danger zone. So it's really easy to pass out for people, and it does happen. Even kids playing, they don't realize it until they pass out. That's already happened. So we want fresh air for the soul. The other thing is, when you're wearing a mask, you greatly increase your carbon dioxide, which is also toxic. So we decrease oxygen and increase carbon dioxide. It's really not a winner. Plus, when we know the masks have never been proven to be successful. I don't want to get too much into that. That is kind of the overall picture. And so there's a lot of contradictory information, even from the CDC, doesn't matter. The overall research shows the masks aren't successful. And there's no science behind doing that. And so, as you probably know, in many places, people are rebelling because it doesn't make them feel. That being said, fresh air for the soul. So what does that mean? It means shifting our angle away from fear and panic into what I would call dirty shirsti. World is as you see it. World is as you believe it to be. Think about that for a moment. World is as you see it. World is as you believe it to be. And that's exactly the struggle that's going on really all over the planet. It is not just in the United States. So many people are beginning to see the truth of things, like I just mentioned about the mask. There's a little bit of rebelling about that. People are demonstrating. We have figures, and again, I don't want to dwell too much in COVID, but what's happened is as deaths go down, they're trying to increase the amount of cases, but the way they're doing it is called probability. If you're a probable case, meaning you've been near someone who had it, it actually increased the figures by 15 times. So the minute you go to not actual cases, but probable cases, the figures are greatly exaggerated. That is, the world is as you see it, the world is as you believe it to be. So if we can see through that, which I will be pointing out that more in my newsletter, there's so much data coming through, but if you can just see through that simple thing, you can see the greatly increased figures of quote positives that are only projected probable positives. Then you have to see, also maybe 60% or more is inaccurate because you can get a false positive even if you've had the flu in the last 10 years. So we have some very wild things happening. The world is as you see it. The world is as you believe it to be. And this is the key. So what we're really talking about is our perception of reality. And there's two levels of perception, clearly. One is the cosmic reality, all one, and the non-dual cosmic reality, and the dual cosmic reality. So that's key, and that's the level we're actually talking about in this moment. Now, one of the advantages of the world is as you see of Drishti Sursti is that by being inside for a while, we get to look at our priorities. How have we been living? What are we doing? it's a chance to really look at our life, okay, and then say, what's the most important thing? To reconnect with our soul and to know God. That's the ultimate important thing, right? Ultimate, okay? So when we reset our priorities to create fresh air for the soul and reconnect with your soul, then that puts us in a higher level of evolutionary alignment rather than fear and panic and contraction. So that's like probably the most important reset priorities. Then we have to look at how we're living our life. And I've created what I call the 6 foundations, sevenfold peace, which is the natural way of living that can take us to liberation. It means eating 100% vegan at least, and at least 80% live food diet, fasting twice a year. And I just want to mention that we are having a fast starting July 20th. And to find out more about it, just go to treeoflife.mn.co, which is our kind of platform that's off Facebook, and you get all the information. But fasting twice a year is part of it. 7-day fast. A lot of people need the power of fasting these days. Second foundation is yoga asana, pranayama, breathing exercises, tai chi, qigong, what we call ophanim, which is the energetics of the Hebrew letters, and sacred dance. And you're going to see some sacred dance today because part of the teaching, let's say Rabbi Nachman in 1802, was when we dance, we break up we defeat the evil decree of the state. And what we're seeing is exactly that now, that we're fighting against, as well as we kind of decrease the power of negativity or evil in life. So, and then we're dancing for joy and love. So we will be doing that in just a few minutes. But that's the key behind the dancing. So one of the other things is, as we look at things, it's important to organize our life so we're not surrounded by negative influences. So the media is overtly working against our, let's say, best interest, creating fear and panic rather than let's connect with our soul. Okay, I won't go into details, but limiting our media exposure is a really good idea. Another thing that happens, again, it's our choice. How do we reconnect with our soul? How do we sustain ourselves? Is sacred relationship. The evidence is very clear. People in sacred relationships live longer, are happier, have less depression. Now we extend that a little bit to social groups. For example, the research with people who go to church, temple, things like that, they have half the amount of depression. I understand today it's okay to do a variety of things, go to Walmart and so forth, and they make it harder to go to church or synagogue. Those are priorities the state's trying to set. But fortunately, people are pushing back against that. So that's really good. Now, it's good to do things that bring inner joy and peace, like the 6 foundations, but it's also good to do outer things. So the next foundation is service and charity. So when we're involved with service and charity, associating doing good deeds in different ways, however big or small, doesn't matter, it actually elevates us. So we're looking at interconnecting with the soul and outer actions that really help us not only more deeply connect with their soul, but with the souls of those around us. That's a really good thing. A really good thing. So keep that in mind. Okay, and then another thing we can do is working with the spiritual teacher, like what we're doing now. We call it viveka, the ability to distinguish between the illusory reality of the physical 3D world and the cosmic reality. And the illusory reality, paradoxically, is there because it creates the opportunity to make what appears to be a free will choice. So we can choose to elevate our consciousness or to contract our consciousness. We can choose who we align ourselves. As we know, many people in Hollywood, like something like Haile Cyrus, actually publicly proclaim their commitment to Satan. Publicly proclaim it for fame, power, money, and so forth. So I'm not telling a big secret here. We have a choice. That's my point. We have a choice. Do we align with our soul? Do we align with God? Or do we align with the energy of Satan? And it's coming right in our face right now. So the role of a spiritual teacher is to help us be more motivated to align with God and the truth of our soul. That's why I call it fresh air for the soul. Okay. Another way of understanding it about service and charity, just going back, is we really weren't created to sit around and watch Netflix and have ice cream. Okay. We're created to be on this planet as the image of God to evolve spiritually. That's what we're created for. And in that process, part of that is service in whatever way we choose to walk before God and be a blessing to humanity. So that's what we're talking about. So there are really important choices here, but be clear, we're not about just sitting around eating ice cream, watching TV, and watching Netflix, okay? In other words, the internet is no substitute for real life. But that's a, it's obvious and it isn't obvious, because being at home, you have to make that choice of what's going on. Okay. So as we look at all this, we again go back to Drishti Shirsti. Okay, the world is as you see it, the world is as you believe it to be, and the illusion of free will, but the choice, the free will choice to align with the highest octave of our destiny or the lowest octave. So it's all open for us. And of course, my point is, let's support open air for the soul. So I leave you with those thoughts, and this is the time for spiritual questions and answers. Fresh air for the soul. Any questions?
I've got a few questions here, Rav.
Go ahead.
It seems to me that mask wearing is a subtle form of idol worship, as it is giving your power away to something outside of the spark of God within. What are your thoughts on this, and how do we navigate this in cities where mask wearing is required?
It's actually obvious. It's a very good question. It's a very good question. So the mask wearing, the bowing down, those are absolutely contrary to Torah teachings. We only bow to God. So a mask wearing, as is implied by the question, which is good, or bowing down as people are doing, some people are doing, is antithetical. It's like giving up your soul. Okay, well, I'm appeasing the people. No, there's a place where you don't do that. Bowing down is beyond that. Wearing a mask is beyond that. So what do we do in the cities? It's hard, okay, because there's so many mixed feelings, but a lot of people are not liking this. They know something's wrong. They know something's wrong. So my advice is, depending where you live, they can fine you thousands of dollars and so forth, but it doesn't say how you should wear your mask. As long as you're wearing your mask below your nose, you're actually not having, you're in resistance, you're also protecting your health. So at this moment, that may be the best strategy. Really, where we are in Arizona, I actually don't ever wear a mask, period. But sometimes we're in a situation where the law, unless there will be a time, I think it's already happening, where people are just refusing to do it because they know there's no truth to it. There's no science to it. Just like the 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, social, there's no science behind that. What do we know? We know that whether they have a lockdown or not, the outcomes are about the same as they look at countries and states. The results of deaths from COVID-19 are basically the same, which is a 0.2%, which is equal to a bad flu. So the outcome does make a difference. So none of it has any level of truth. That's the key thing. But it's better that protest be done in a focused, directed way. And I think that's probably the most important thing to understand. It's my feeling that we're going to get through this. My feeling is that One World Order will not win, as they mystically think 2020 vision, whatever that symbol is to them. We're getting 2020 vision about what's going on. And so I think in the bigger immediate picture, they will not win this very serious effort to take over the world, not just the United States. So choose well as you take your stand, but in the meantime, don't put your nose, wear your mask below your nose, and you are wearing your mask, but you're actually not hurting yourself. Now, it's also not playing the idol worship, because you're not actually bowing down to the request, but it's a middle place, because we have to find someplace until more happens, an interface that lets you function in the world at some level. Please remember that the mark of the beast is not about a tattoo like the Nazis did on your arm. The mark of the beast is choosing to become part of the system in thought and emotion and action. So we're not taking on the mark of the beast by resisting it in this more subtle level. That's the best I can do now. So the idea is to resist the best you can. As I say, don't wear a mask if you don't have to. That's probably the best thing. I mean, there are people in their own car by themselves wearing masks. That's really very detrimental to your health. I mean, you could pass out from oxygen deprivation. You get in a car accident. Some of that's already happened. So there's different levels to the story. Okay, so don't give in. Don't bow down. Don't take on the mark of the beast. But at the same hand, kind of figure out the subtle interface that you need in the moment, and which may change in the future. So, good question. Difficult, not a total answer, but the best I can do. Any other questions?
Can we make the world more peaceful by visualizing the world as peaceful?
Absolutely. We have very good evidence. We do that with Peace 21, equinox and solstice. We just missed solstice, but I mean, we didn't miss it, but we do it. So the meditation we're going to do is the firepower meditation, is we bring down the firepower of God, send it out throughout a whole body to burn up any negativities throughout the whole planet, and also off planet to transform negativity into light. And the research for Peace 21 by a guy named Bro Payne showed that prior to Peace 21, equinox and solstice, there were greater numbers of sunspots during these times. Now, when we began doing the peace meditation, it's like a half hour to an hour on each solstice and equinox for 4 years in a row, we show we drop the number of sunspots. So we're literally affecting the whole solar system. So we do affect the global mind. The research is pretty clear about that. We know since 1973, lots and lots of studies have shown that when we meditate, we can literally drop the rate of violent crime wherever we're meditating. So for example, Rhode Island, 2 years in a row, they came in, they're meditating an hour to a day. Crime dropped 43%, came back the next year, crime dropped 49%. So we are explicitly affecting the global brain. And I am really strongly suggesting people meditate twice a day, if they can, minimum of 20 minutes, and do this firepower meditation, which I will guide people through when we do that. We can affect the global brain, and it's been proven multiple times. So it's a good question. And no, we do have that power. That's probably the main power we have. Okay, great question. Next question.
Yeah, I've got another one here. Is our purpose just to be a light in this world? How do we know if our dharma is something behind that?
Again, a very sophisticated question. I'm in the very, very last editing of my book, Into the Nothing, and those are the kind of questions. So what I point out in the book, Into the Nothing, is that we have multiple level dharmas. Our big dharma, to know God. And in that process, to walk before God as a light to the world, waking up people. And that's what I was talking about, what I talked about, fresh air for the souls. Our big job is to do that. That's for everyone. Then some of us have a specific dharma that we do. Now, how do you know what a dharma is? Dharma means I'm going to use the word righteous, but your activity, your life, work, or your work in the world that elevates you spiritually. And so some people will feel a real calling for a specific dharma that elevates them spiritually, whether it's easy or hard, doesn't matter. It's you're being elevated spiritually. That's what matters. And some people don't. And Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna, late 1800s, put it this way. He said, okay, the general dharma is to know God. Okay, well, that's good for everybody. But if people don't have a feeling for what that is for themselves, said then take a simple job that allows you to focus on God. So we really have both, and many people do have both. So there's two levels of that. Okay, good question.
What is the best type of fasting?
Doing it. Besides doing it, in our world today, I mean, we have water fast and we have juice fast. Water fast can be more powerful, but they can also release too many toxins at once. So I recommend, which I have really since 1983, so it's quite a few years, 47 years, recommend doing green juices diluted in half. So it's a midway place. And that has the minimum amount of toxicity with a maximum amount of detox effect. That's what we will be guiding people for in our 1 week juice fast starting in July 20th.
How much? Yeah, I've got another one here. How much of the skin should be exposed to get the daily dose of vitamin D? What time of day is best? Thank you.
I have to just stop something. I'm going to put this on, what do we call it? Okay, say the best time to get vitamin D, okay, is before 10 if it's a hot sun, or an hour or so before sunset. Now, it depends. So I will go out pretty much any time, even in the Arizona sun, because my body said I eat the sun. I can be in, I don't get sunburned. So it depends on where you are, but generally speaking, it's really good to get 15, 20 minutes a day. I like that much twice a day. They say only 3 days a week. I suggest at least 5 days a week, where we're really getting that sun exposure. How much exposed? Well, there's two things going on. Really, your upper, really no clothes is best, but that's not so practical in the world today, but that's best, okay? The reason I'm going to add another kind of effect of light is the light coming through our eyes, as I point out in spiritual nutrition, the rainbow diet, actually stimulates all our chakras. As it goes through our eyes, the different frequencies are broken down. So that's another piece to the story. But that should just be a minute or two at sunrise and sunset. Otherwise, before about 10 a.m., and maybe an hour or so before sunset, so it's a different time, as much exposure as possible, but at least your upper torso is really enough to do it. And if you can wear shorts, depending on your weather, that's good. That works. Good questions. Any other questions? We have time for one more question before we do the meditation.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lilia.
Yes, Dr. Cousin, you do not recommend, I understand, those people are underweight more than 10 pounds. You do not recommend fasting, right? Am I correct?
Well, I actually say 20 pounds.
Okay.
And in today's world, with so much toxicity, I kind of bend it, but I don't really like that. For a 7-day fast, I like people to be no more than 20 pounds underweight. Okay.
But what about once a week? Once a week in juice fasting?
I don't really recommend that
Okay.
because it takes a day or two for your body to go into fasting mode. Okay. And for people who are Vata, it really can disorder their system. For Kaphas, people with a certain constitution, it doesn't make so much difference. But once a week for a Vata can throw them off for a few days. I think the safe and the best way to go about it is 7 days twice a year. That's the minimum, but it really does it. It takes about 5 days to get the bowel toxins out of your bowel, obviously, but also out of your brain. So, 4 to 5 days. So better do a longer fast 2 times a year, and that really does make a difference, rather than once a week, which can throw you off. And it rests your system, but it doesn't really do much of a detox.
Okay. I appreciate so much, with all my reverence to you.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for your question.
Sure.
Okay, so Yosha, I'm going to go ahead and talk about meditation at this point. So hold on, I'm just going to get my mantra card out. So this is what I recommend doing literally every day. We're all in different time zones, so we can't necessarily do it all at the same time. So there's 5 steps. Step 1, sit comfortably. Okay, that's number 1. 2, observe what goes on without judging or getting involved. Step 3, sometimes the Kundalini Rahakodesh gets awakened, or actually a lot of the times, and different things begin to happen. You feel a variety of energy flows and so forth. And again, just observe, don't get involved. And the 4th step is the meditation technique. And there's 2 steps to that. We call it concentration and then meditation. And then by grace, it can also take it to samadhi. So this is a mantra that I was given in 1995 at the last day of a 21-day water fast. And it's Yod on the in-breath, Hey on the out-breath. Wah on the in-breath, Hey on the out-breath. Okay, so it's Yod, inhaling up from the base to the heart, Hey out of the heart to the world, Wah from the base to the third eye, and then Hey out to the world. And we just simply keep repeating that until our mind's quiet. Now, when our mind is quiet, we let go of the mantra because we're in meditation. And you just let it go where it goes. If your mind gets active again, start repeating the mantra. Draw you back into it. So it's Yod in the breath, Hey on the out breath, Wah in the breath, Hey on the out breath. If you have a mantra you've been using, that also works if it's working for you, or you may want to try this because this is a particularly energized mantra. It's the name of God that Moses received from the burning bush 3,400 years ago. So it's very empowered. It's also the mantra that Jesus or Jesus gave to his disciples as well. So this is a well-used mantra. A lot of people aren't aware of what I just said, but this is what we want to do. So this is an easy one to do it. And the final part of it is what we call Shaktipat or Haniha. And that's transferred by look, which is one way, by sound, another way, by touch, by breath. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to dance for a few minutes, 3 minutes, and then I'll come back here and we'll do the Shaktipat Haniha by look and by sound. And then a few minutes into that, we'll do the guided meditation, which I suggest you do every day as a way of uplifting the global mind. So that's what that is. If people do want the mantra cards, which are blessed by me, you can just request it. We just charge $1 just to the time it takes to do it. So you can do that again through treeoflife.mn.co. We can send those to you. Okay, so that's what it is. I'm now going to switch over. We're going to do dance mode for 3 minutes, which again helps block or dissolve the evil decrees by the state, like wearing face masks, and also brings joy and peace and love to us. So I'm going to switch over now, and you'll see this. We've got this new technology. Well, I don't know if it's new, but we learned it. Okay, you'll see me there in just a moment.
This is a world makeover. Mashiach will come take over. You ain't gotta be me or see what I see. All you gotta do is take a look forward. Lift up your eye to the sky. Spread out your hands. Say thank you, smile. Get them up, put them up, leave them up. Ha ha. Yep, pump up the volume every day. Stand in place. Heart racing, no words to say. Pressure building, trying to hold my face. Mind drifting like not today. Wake up from everything. Break out your shell and scream. Hashem, you're the king. Hashem, you're the king. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Enroll, leolam va'ed. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Enroll. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Enroll, leolam va'ed. Hashem Melech, Malach, Hashem Enroll, leolam va'ed. I feel the cold in the rain. I wanna get up and high and will never come back down. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, our Father. King David's rock your honor. We give our lot the stronger. We cling you dry. The blessing, the bracha, success, hatzlacha. The world is yours, you offer it to whomever calls you. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Imloch, Leolam va'ed. Hashem Melech, Malach, Imloch, Leolam va'ed. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Imloch, Leolam va'ed. Hashem Melech, Malach, Imloch, Leolam va'ed. Wake up, my friend, we gone. We praising Hashem with all of our soul. The Creeper is fighting, we know. We raging a war, we won't let him go. Even if the world don't turn, the fire will burn. The Ishtami, a korban, self-sacrifice.
Okay, very good. So now just let the energy, cosmic energy, flow through me into you. Shaktipat, going through my eyes, through my breath. Okay, slowly go into meditation and repeat the mantra. Yod in the breath, Hey in the breath, Wah in the breath, Hey in the breath, until the mind is quiet, and then you let go of the mantra. And here we go. We're going to go about 15 minutes. Okay, very good. Set the clock. Now take an inhale, bringing the cosmic force down into your heart and bringing the energy stored at the base of the spine up to the heart. You're inhaling. And you're slowly exhaling, releasing that fire power of God throughout your whole body, burning up and transforming all darkness into the light. Now inhale again into your heart. And this time, when we exhale, exhale this fire power of God, burning up all planetary darkness, transforming it into the light. Now we inhale again from cosmic force and energy at the base of the spine called the Yukta Trivini, the three rivers. We bring it together into the heart and we exhale out to the heart, off planet, transforming all areas of darkness in the solar system beyond back into the light. And then we continue to meditate. Slowly come out of meditation. Okay, we have time actually for a few questions, a sharing of the meditation, your experience. So I'll ask the question first. Did anyone experience heat or movements, frequencies, vibrations, colors? Those are all signs that the Ruach Kadesh or Kundalini has been awake.
My glasses on. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, Gabriel. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good.
When I'm meditating and when I was I trying to sort of just feel nothing, but I always get like this sort of goldeny, sun colory, like sunset color, and it always seems to be the best color.
The gold is the supercausal body. It means, yes, the Kundalini is awakened. There are different levels of bodies: supercausal, causal, subtle, and physical. So you've accessed the higher level body, which we see often as gold or purple or the blue pearl or blue light. So that's great. That means you reach the deeper levels.
So I shouldn't try to go back and meditate black color. I should just keep
No,
with
no.
golden.
Right. Oh, you're bringing up another principle. Okay, that principle is don't try to adjust your meditation. Let it do what it's supposed to do because it's more intelligent than you are.
That yes, okay. Thank you. So I'm not doing anything wrong. It's good.
No, you're doing everything right. Okay, good.
Okay. Well, I'm glad for your help. It's wonderful.
Okay,
Sketch-
Seriously, the world says you see it. It's not, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm doing everything right.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Time for one more or two more?
Yeah, we've got some sharing on Facebook. I felt floating through the air, vibrations on my spine.
Okay, so the floating is what we call pratyahara, where it's a change in the sense the physical senses start to kind of disappear. So you can have a floating feeling, and that is a sign, again, of the Kundalini awakening, or what we call the Ruach Kadesh. And then the other energies you're feeling are also a sign of the Kundalini awakening. Great. Okay.
Yeah, a warm feeling around my body.
Around the whole body, or like in the heart or abdomen, or the whole body?
They didn't say.
Okay, let's go with the whole body, and that is, again, in this context, it's a sign that Kundalini is awakened. Now, you could be standing next to a heater, right? You'll get warm, but this is a different context. So in this meditation context, it's a sign of the Kundalini Ruach Kadesh being awake.
So a purple color, don't know the significance.
The purple color is a sign that the Ruach HaKadosh Kundalini is awakened, and it's a color we see when we reach the super causal body, the deepest level, and that really only happens when the Kundalini is awakened. So it's very significant, very positive.
Looks like that's it for now for sharing.
Okay, perfect timing. So I want to again remind people we are having a spiritual fast. When you fast, things go deeper. We will be meditating twice a day, and that's the 20th. And before that, there's a weekend where we're meditating 3 times 3 hours a day. So this is a very unique time in history, so to speak, for us to take advantage of that. So I think it's the 17th, 18th, and 19th, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, where we're having the meditation intensive, which we're trying to do every month. And then immediately following that is the fast. And you combine those two together, you're going to get a very, very powerful effect. So just go to treeoflife.mn.co, and that's great. So thank you all for attending. It's a joy to share the energy, and we'll see you next week at 11 o'clock Arizona time. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Mitakuasa. Amen.